North Carolina could have been the state, the last state needed to ratify it.
When you look at the history of women gaining the right to vote in the U.S., you have to go further back than 1920. Really, it starts with the Declaration of Sentiments, a document outlining the rights that American women should have been entitled to in 1848. After the Civil War, with the Reconstruction Amendments guaranteeing African American citizenship, came a split in the suffrage movement.
It really kind of defines the movement throughout the rest of the 19th century and even into the beginning of the 20th.
Namely, over the 15th Amendment, granting African American men the right to vote.
It is also the first time that the word male is introduced into the Constitution, which was huge for these suffragists.
Mandy Cooper, lecturer of women's and gender history at UNC Greensboro, says with the divide between people supporting the 15th Amendment and those against, there was somewhat of a deadlock for suffrage.
They initially end up taking a state-by-state approach to suffrage. So you see a lot of Western states that write suffrage into their state constitutions for women.
By the turn of the century, support for suffrage had started to grow in North Carolina.
Church associations, the majority of the press actually supported the amendment. And then it gets into the state legislature.
And that legislature didn't know what it wanted to do.
63 members of the North Carolina House of Representatives sent a telegram to the Tennessee legislature promising that they would not ratify the amendment if Tennessee would not.
Then the Senate said it would table the issue until the following year. But Tennessee had a different timetable.
Ultimately, just a few days later, Tennessee does ratify it.
That meant 36 states total had ratified the 19th Amendment, ensuring the U.S. Constitution would make it law that, quote, the right of citizens in the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
Once it was in effect, women had the vote, kind of, effectively.
In theory.
Legally, I should say.
As Cooper points out, there's a difference between law on the books and law in action.
Most white women do vote. Some African American women try to vote.
The Voting Rights Act came in 1965, and North Carolina still didn't ratify the 19th Amendment for another 6 years after that.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
This year when we started out, people were routinely calling it the Year of the Woman.
At this point last year, we were talking about a packed Democratic presidential race and several women candidates, including Senators Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, and Kamala Harris.
The bigger changes that I see are not just women having the right to vote, but women's impact as a voting bloc.
With the modern-day progress of women from voters to major party candidates.
Kamala Harris on a major party ticket is an incredible first.
The next step, Cooper says, is how we view women who decide to run.
As soon as a woman announces candidacy for really any office, you start seeing people talk about her likability.